Hey, good morning, athletes. Evan got Triathlete here. So I just finished a 5K time trial and yo, I blew up all the way. My run dots are low, everything was low. It was probably the worst run I've ever done. But that's okay. I mean, this is normal, it's understandable. We are in lockdown, so we haven't really been able to get out much. So obviously our time trials are going to be in the shitter. Got me thinking, was I ready? Yeah, I am ready and stuff. Reason why I know is I track heart rate variability, and that's what I want to chat to you guys about today. What is HRV and how do we use it? So bear with me, we're going to get into a little bit in-depth science stuff, and pretty much it's a tool, it's a weapon that you should keep in your arsenal, and whether you use it or not, here's some insights and try it. You'll be amazed at how you can track pretty much everything. So your HRV is a powerful biomarker. You can use this in so many different ways to assess the strain that your body's been taking, the stress that your body's taking. And this is a good thing. Your body must be stressed and recover, and stressed and recover in order for you to get fitter. I mean, the benefits are there. You get stronger, you get faster, you get fitter. And to measure this using your HRV is kind of technical. We're going to dive sort of deep into this, and I'm going to try to explain this the best way I can, but it's basically how you manage stress. So I've been using this for about a year and a bit now, and my recovery is quite spot on. Each race I have PB, and I haven't been sick, touch wood. But so I do think that the reason behind all of that is because I'm quite strict with myself when it comes to recovery. It's a really important thing, and I recover using HRV. So this is how I know I am recovered, or if I need more work, or whether I should take an easier day or not. But let's get into some of the details, and hopefully this video can help you out. The analysis of your HRV is actually the analysis of your vagus nerve. Your vagus nerve is what controls your sympathetic and your parasympathetic activation in your body. Parasympathetic being your rest and digest, your whole recovery, the easier going nervous system, that side of it. And the other side is your sympathetic, which is your fight or flight. It's important to have both of them in balance all the time. So one will activate, the other will decrease, the other will activate, the other will decrease, and that's how it stays in balance. Basically what happens is when you are stressed, or something's not right, or you're fighting, or whatever it is, that's the sympathetic side of your nervous system being activated, and that's what actually causes the stress. And I don't mean stress as in bad stress. Stress is good to grow, and stress in your body and your nervous system is actually what helps you train, and what actually makes you stronger and faster, fitter, all of that, so long as your parasympathetic is helping you recover. So this is how we're understanding it. You've got your sympathetic side and you've got your parasympathetic side. So it is important to have balance on both sides, and watching the balance between the two is what we're actually doing when we're checking your HRV. You have your heart rate. When your heart rate is beating, it goes at a normal steady state, and this is what we've always been tracking as athletes. This is your resting heart rate. Do-do, do-do, do-do. It's normal. When it's elevated, meaning when you're training, when you're pushing yourself, whatever it is, obviously you felt it before, your heart rate is beating faster, it's stronger, it's a lot more beats within this succession rate. That's fine, that's good. However, that's not HRV. HRV is not your heart rate. HRV is this. It's the space in between your heart rate. So to understand this a little bit further is, when your heart rate is busy pushing, let's say you're doing 160 beats per minute and it's a high intensity workout, it's going it's normal. However, it's your body forcing out those heartbeats because it has to, in order to keep you alive. Your HRV is the measurement between the time, the successive points between the time it takes to get to your next heartbeat. And that's never the same. When you are recovering, these beats are not the same. This one, for argument's sake, might be 80 milliseconds. This one is 900, this one's 1000, whatever. Okay, they're never the same. Reason being, your heart rate should only be beating when it needs to. And that's what we're actually using to measure our fitness. And these points in the middle, let's put it here, are your RR points. So these are what we're actually measuring. And that's how we can pretty much understand what we're actually doing. So I hope this makes a little bit more sense between the difference between your heart rate and your heart rate variability. I'm going to show you now how the app works and how to actually measure it. Studies are proving over and over that a higher heart rate variability means you're fitter. So in some extent it is true, because it's higher, obviously the space between is bigger, which technically means you are fitter, but it's not that simple. So the only way to actually measure it accurately is to create a baseline. And once you understand your baseline, once you actually have your baseline, you can ascertain whether you're actually getting fitter, you're starting to get sick. And in order to do that, you have to take this measurement every day. So it usually takes about 2 to 3 weeks to actually create a solid baseline, and a measurement of anywhere from a minute to 6 minutes, depending on what app you're using. And the most important part, it has to be accurate. So you'll have to do it with a heart rate strap, one that actually measures your RR intervals. So a normal heart rate monitor might not cut it because of the accuracy. As long as it can feed back your RR intervals, you'll be able to use that in whatever the apps are. So let's take a look at the apps now, and let's see how we can actually dive a little bit deeper. So running through the apps, okay, there are tons and tons of apps. This one over here is EliteHRV. I use another one called HRV for training. I'm actually just doing it to compare them together and whatnot, but find an app, pick it, and stick with it, pretty much, because you need to create a baseline. So this is what I am currently doing over here. If you look at the screen, you'll see my heart rate, which is at 46, 47, and then right next to it my HRV, which is currently 85, 86. That changes all the time. Flipping between the screens, you'll see different guidelines on what to do and how to breathe or whatever it is. But essentially what you're doing is taking this morning, they call it a readiness reading, taking the morning reading every day at the same time in the same position, so your results are a lot more uniform. It's really simple to do. You strap on your heart rate monitor, and yeah, off you go. As long as it's an accurate monitor, you're fine. Particular apps like HRV for training, you can actually use your phone's heart rate sensor. So I mean, if you have a Galaxy phone, it'll have a heart rate sensor at the back, which actually picks up your pulse through your finger. And according to their studies, it's accurate. I tested it alongside a different app at the same time. One of the apps using the heart rate monitor, the other one using my finger, and it really was quite accurate. There were a few variable differences, but it's fine. So anyway, once that's done, it asks you for a lot of metadata. So over here, I'm busy logging exercise activities. I'm noting down my intensities, how I slept. It's just a whole lot of metadata that you can use when you are creating your baseline. Reason being, it helps. If you sleep badly, or if you have a really bad sleep in a particular night and you log it, you will notice that your HRV will be slightly lower than normal. It is normal, that does happen. So what the studies show is 1 day of a low HRV isn't the end of the world, but if it's consistent, so the next day is low as well, and then the next day there's a problem on its way. So not to worry so much about one day, but
if they are more frequent, that is the problem. So over here I'm adding my weight, my BMI. So it's usually quite quick once you get the hang of it, but this is what you want, that reading over there. So it's showing me my readiness out of 10, which is scored at an 8, and my HRV for the day was 79, and you'll see they just marked it over there. As long as you're inside the green, it means go for it. It's a good day, you should be training at your peak, everything should be fine. But over here there's little yellow and blue stripes. Those guys are where you'll actually find your baseline. So through that you'll see if your HRV is going up or down, or if your stress is going up or down, or whatever. But that's what you're busy checking. That's an important part. Scrolling through the app, you have data details, you have your tags. This is more details in if you really want to get all sciencey and dive deep into your HRV results. You can see it there. So RMSSD, that is the root mean square of successive differences, excuse me, and that's pretty much what the time difference average is between my heartbeats. So it varies depending on you know, my training level, my fitness level, my fatigue level, all of that. Yeah, so it's not simple, but I mean the app actually makes it really simple to use. I mean, all the apps are different, but essentially they'll give you a good reading, a morning readiness reading. You know, there's a few insights over there. But yeah, long story short, it's 8 out of 10. That means no excuses. Let's hit it.
So HRV is one of those topics that we can go on and on and on about, but it's going to be a long ass video. So let me know what you think. Do you use HRV or some sort of tracking metrics for your recovery? Let me know what you think. I'm the Triathlete. Smash the subscribe button and we will see you soon.